All right, I am super late, like 8 minutes now. Yeah, I got back from the gym, took the dog out, and then I don't know, everything on the computer just started glitching. Like, I seriously need to get a new computer. Right now, there are no trade setups. We'd be looking to sell, if anything. Um, Yeah, see, this would have one, two, three, four. Yeah, that would not have been a trade. So yeah, there's no opportunities unless we get some green and then back to red. But yeah, there's just no opportunities right now. So I will be back, but we're just gonna let this go. Let me just get everything pulled up. Yeah, gym was pretty. Well, let's see what we got here. So yeah, gym class was pretty intense today. It wasn't a time thing, it was like a reps thing. So the faster you do your reps, the better for you, essentially. So yeah, green, which is nice. Um, yeah, so it's like the faster you. So I was trying to push through my reps as fast as possible because we started 9 minutes late, and then also we started doing it at a new location, which took me almost an hour to get there. It took me like 53 minutes, which is actually ridiculous, to go work out for an hour. It's an hour trip there and then a 30-minute trip back. So, not fun. I don't know if I'll do that consistently, because, yeah, I, I'm not a fan of having to drive an hour just to go work out. You know what I'm saying? Like, before I was driving, before the time changed, I was driving like, it was like 35 to 40 minutes, which is better. And then there was construction. Honestly, it just, the gym was great, but just all the driving takes the enjoyment out of it. So that's where I am right now. I will hop in the shower. Um, but if I am gonna hop in the shower and I may miss any trades that come along, and that's just too bad. There are how many more days left in the week? No, this is only the second day, so it's not the end of the world. That is for sure. It's not the end of the world. I kind of wanna just watch it for a minute, but I also want to get ready for bed. Let's just chill here for a second. 'Cause we're already like 11 minutes in because we were so late. So let's just see what happens. So yeah, let's go to the verse of the day. I read this morning, and I was doing a lot of thinking about it. A lot of did some more extra research because I was like, what does that actually mean? So the verse of the day is Matthew 6:19. It says, "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal." And then if I read the surrounding verses, "But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." And so I looked up, what does it mean to lay up treasures um, in heaven? So I googled that. There's my search. Okay. And so the AI responded with this: To store up treasures in heaven means to focus on spiritual and eternal values rather than temporary material wealth. It involves investing in acts of faith, righteousness, generosity, and service to God, such as giving to the needy, praying, and living according to biblical teachings, which are seen as having lasting rewards. The concept contrasts with earthly treasures that are subject to decay and loss. Everything that you see here will vanish. Everything. This account, this money, these prices, everything is gonna go away as at one point in time or another. And it's like so when you put all of your time and energy in things that aren't gonna last, that's what you do. Like cars, for example. I used to be a very big car person. I was obsessed with cars. Like I knew every not every model, make and model, but I was very versed in different cars, and I loved engines and all of this stuff. Now I drive a car, and you know what? I don't care to get another one. It serves a purpose. It's literally, it's functional. It works. It hasn't broken down. So until it does, I don't need another car. I used to dream about making tons of money so that I could, buy all these fancy cars. And now I'm just like, why? Because it does the same thing as a cheap car does. It gets you from point A to point B. The only difference between the flashy car and the non-flashy car is maybe people will be looking at you. And is that why you get the fancy cars? People will look at you and be like, that person must have money. That person has great taste. I don't know. I reached a point in my life where I don't care about that stuff. So the earthly treasures I don't really care about. I frequently leave my door unlocked because I have nothing worth to steal. Okay, I don't want people to steal my streaming setup, but in reality, none of this stuff is it's not that important to me. It's not that it's bad or anything. It's just it's not that important. And so let me reset this. And so I think my problem is not laying up earthly treasures. It's how do I lay up treasures in heaven? And that's where I looked this up. I was like, what does that actually mean? And it says focus on, it involves investing, right? Investing in things outside yourself, acts of faith, righteousness, generosity, and service to God, such as giving to the needy, praying and living according to biblical teachings. And then here's more of a breakdown. It says, live a life of faith and righteousness. Center your life on God's will by being humble, merciful, and seeking to live according to his commands. I struggle with this one. Not gonna lie. I struggle with this one because... Now, 1 second. Yeah, I had like a desk thing and I just like bumped it and the whole thing fell over somehow. Anyways, so I was saying I struggle with this one. So seeking to live according to his commands. Sometimes I don't feel like it. Sometimes I just don't. And that's one thing that I think is one of my biggest challenges is wanting things that are not of God's will. And that's something that I struggle with every single day. Um, but you know, it's a struggle, but so far we're winning. Let's go to the next one. Be generous with what you have. Give generously to the needy, whether it's money, time, or talents, as these actions are considered a way of transferring value to heaven. Yes, helping those in need. So, I mean, I tithe, but I need to be more intentional with my giving. Um, because right now, I was tithing to this, well, I still am, but I'm tithing to this church that I just recently found supports mega church pastors, you know, the people that are that are millionaires basically off their congregations. And it's like, I don't support that. And so I was tithing to a church that supports these mega pastors. And I'm just like, why can't I just find here's my problem. I want to find a small church that I can um, just find, have discipleship and find community. But also, I also don't want that at the same time because I don't like people. I don't like having to interact. And so it's like, I want the small community, but the small community scares me, you know? Yeah. And then, but I want to be able to be in a position where I'm giving in that community and I'm also using my time. You know, I have time. I could be helping at, I don't know, food banks or helping give out things and donations. I want to be involved in those things, and I really need to be more intentional about doing that because I could say I want it. I do. It's not that I don't. It's just I don't know. I'm very introverted, and I don't like having to go to churches by myself and then not know anybody, but then I also don't want to get to know anybody because the conversation seems so fake, you know? It's just like people will say they say hi, how you doing? Oh, we're so glad you're here, but then, you know, they part their ways and they go home and there's no follow up. I don't know. I just yeah. And then there's this one. Serve God and others. Use your gifts and energy to serve God and the community. Even small acts of service for God's sake are seen as storing up treasures. So, using my gifts. What are my gifts? Well, I don't know. I mean, I do like to talk to people. Mostly, I like to listen to people. I'd say that's a gift. And I do love serving. I'd say service, giving, generosity is a gift. Um, so I know a lot of selfish people, but no, I want to give. I want to give my time, but then you know there's that problem of you got to be part of the community, and I really struggle with putting myself out there. I don't know how to overcome that. And then prioritize spiritual over material. The principle is not to let material possessions or wealth become your primary focus. Instead, seek the kingdom of God first, with understanding that your heart will follow your treasure. I'm not quite sure what they were saying there. One second. Let me just turn that down just a smidge. Okay, so the next one, well, let's talk about that one for 2 seconds. Not let material possessions or wealth. That's a hard one when it comes to trading, right? Because it's almost like, yeah, you don't want material wealth and possessions to become you know the primary, but it's so hard when you consider, like, if you actually consider the fact that when you consider that, you know, you're literally trading numbers and money. Like it's and so to remind yourself every single day that you when you get on the chart, it's not about the money. It's hard. It's actually hard because it's like, okay, it's not about the money. It's not about the money, but there's that but, you know, then what's, why do we look at green? Why do we come over here and look at this, right? If it's not about the money. So, and that's a reality. That is a reality. One second, let me try to, for some reason, this isn't quite right. Maybe now. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so we'll come back to that one potentially. 1 second. So the next one is seek eternal rewards. Okay, I don't know if that's good advice from the Google, because I mean, should we do things solely for the reward? Because this says, understand that treasures in heaven can include eternal rewards like spiritual growth, a deeper relationship with God. Okay, this is good. And the fruit of living a life that glorifies Him. And I want that, the spiritual growth. I want to be the person in the conversation where, like, whatever's being said, it always leads back to God. There was a beautiful moment where I was at a dog park. Well, it was sad and beautiful at the same time. So I was at the dog park, and I was talking to this woman, and we were talking, and then at a certain point she said something, and I felt the need to share my testimony, about how God got me through hard times, because she was going through a period where she didn't have a job. And I wanted to say something, I really did, but then I don't know, I choked. I guess I didn't want her to, I guess I didn't want to make her uncomfortable. I didn't want to, change the vibe. And so I didn't say anything. And then I felt like in that moment, I was like, I knew I failed that. That was an opportunity, and I knew I failed it. And then Jaden came along, my fiance, and we started talking, and he was there, and he just started sharing his testimony like it was just like breathing air, not a second thought. And I'm just like, I want that, I want to be like that. And I told him that like the next day. I think I told him, all that was going on in my head. So I definitely want that spiritual growth, and I want that deeper relationship with God, to the point where I'm not scared to talk about it. When you're in a good relationship, you're not scared to talk about it. And I shouldn't be scared to talk about my relationship with God. And then, yeah, fruit of living a life that glorifies Him. So let's go more into that one. 1 second. Okay, so fruit of living a life that glorifies Him. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, when you're living a life that glorifies God, the fruit is just gonna come naturally. Like, here's the thing. You know what? What's that saying where it's like apple trees produce apples? They don't produce watermelons. Watermelons don't even grow on trees. I don't know why I said watermelons, but yeah, they don't grow on trees. But the fruit, Well, where's in the Bible where it says you will know them by their fruit or something? Let me go and look that up. Ah, predictive Google search. Okay, it says it's from Matthew 7:16. Oh, sorry, 7:16 through 20. Let's go read it. Okay. Oh, okay, it says, beware of false prophets, starting in verse 15, says, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them. Let's talk about fruit, shall we? Well, first of all, I like fruit, but also I want to produce fruit. And I feel like maybe I do just a little, but am I a full blooming tree with tons of fruit? No, I wish. But that's why I need to focus more on my relationship with God, because the fruit will come naturally. And let's relate all of this to trading, because we're here to trade. The thing is if it's of God, no, if it's of God, you're gonna know. You just are, right? Something that is of God, you will know. And I'm gonna give a very sad example. Not sad because it's bad, but just sad because it's sad. We're talking about Charlie Kirk. You know, when Charlie Kirk was killed, that's not even an entry, that's sad. When Charlie Kirk was killed, sorry, that was, I'm trying to trade and have a whole meaningful moment here. But when Charlie Kirk was killed, it was tragic. And I remember talking to my fiance, and we were, like, just, he was very upset about it. And I remember saying, I was like, if anything, all it's gonna do is bring people closer to God. And weeks after, I just saw nothing. Okay, there's your entry, and I don't know if I'll get one, because it needs to come back up just a tad, because we are very, very way up there. Anyways, but yeah, and we come up just a smidgen, people. And so he was very upset, and I was like, yeah, but it's gonna bring people closer to God. It has to. And yeah, that's what I was saying. So weeks later, don't tell me I missed the perfect entry. You missed the perfect entry, Lizzie. Whatever. So yeah, it was up like one extra. I was like, give me extras, but it didn't. And that was it. Okay, cool, whatever. So yeah, anyways, so back with what I was saying was, what was I saying? It's a good question. Oh yes, and I just saw all of these posts from people, and they were all talking about how you know, because of Charlie Kirk's death, they basically they switched, like some of them were hardcore liberals, a lot of them were saying how it made them, start to seek God. And I'm like, exactly. When something is of God, you're going to know. Could God have stopped that? 100%. He could have stopped that, but he didn't. Why? Because there was so much good that came out of it. And yes, there's the tragedy and all of that. But there was so much good that, wow, there was so much good that came from that. It can't be ignored. It can't be ignored. Um, and so when you're looking at fruit, Charlie Cook produced nothing but fruit. Nothing but fruit. That is a very big candle, and we could have been in on it. You know, I think I was being a little, not, I was being hesitant because there was an entry, and I didn't take it because it was right. Where was it? So I was supposed to get in at 92, and it went up to 92.1. So that was good. And I thought to myself, just let it go up just a tiny bit more. It didn't. And so it just came dumping down. And obviously, you miss what, 60 ticks or whatever. So yeah, there's a trade come and gone. Trades tend to do that. They come and go. But yeah, I don't know. It's just what was I saying? It's good. I don't even remember. But yeah, talking about things that are of God, and that's the other thing, with trading. Let's line it up with trading. If something's of God as far as trading, it's gonna work out. It may not always work out the way you want it to, but it's gonna work out the way it's supposed to, and that's where faith comes in. Anyways, so there's one trade. We still have like what, 26 minutes left. Am I slightly disappointed? Yes. And the only reason why is because I saw the potential. I saw the entry. I saw it. It was literally right there. It's right there in plain sight. And all I had to do was click. And I didn't. Why? It's a good question. I don't know. I think I wanted it to give me a better pullback. I was waiting for a better pullback, to be honest. That's all I was waiting for, was for it to just pull back just a little more and just give me a better entry, to be honest. And it didn't. And that's just the brunt of it, unfortunately. Well, not really unfortunately, but yes, that's just the brunt of it. It did not give a better entry. But that's what I was looking. That was my hesitation. It wasn't really like, oh no, I'm scared. It was more like I was hoping for a better entry. I was hoping because like I said, we were hovering at like 92.1, and I was thinking, oh, what if it just jumped up to maybe like a 92.8 or 0.9 or 3? Then I'll get in, right? I was kind of bargaining my entry in my head, like, oh, but if it could just get. And sometimes with things like this, you just have to get in. Sometimes you actually do just have to kind of just get in, because otherwise you miss things like this, doop doop doop. But yeah, I mean, you can't live in the hindsight. I mean, you could, but what good will it do you? Absolutely no good. So yeah, that was a good trade missed, due to simply just wanting a better entry. It wasn't a bad thing that I wanted a better entry, but also, yeah. Yeah, I mean, wanting a better entry point is not a bad thing. It's just it caused me to miss out on a trade, but it's okay. Anyways, yeah, we're noticing a pattern, right? We get a big push down, and then we kind of chop up for quite some time, and then we get a nice push, and then we go sideways, we get a nice, that was a nice big push, and then just very clean push, and then we came back up, and then we were sideways, and then we kind of got stuck here, bounced around, a lot of sideways movement, and then we finally broke the bottom of this, and then we came right back up to it. So yeah, I'm not interested in taking any sort of sell that could potentially be a trap coming down here, but it's fine. We will see what happens, because just looking at this pattern, we sell, and then we move sideways, and then we sell, and then we move sideways. So it doesn't mean that's what we're going to continue to do, but you never know. Yeah, my whole point, I really did want to pass before the 7th, but you know, I did and I do, but at the same time, I also I don't want to blow the account. You know, I don't want to use the same mentality that cost me accounts, which is make a bunch of money really fast just to pass the account, because if that's the goal, just to make a bunch of money really fast, pass the account, okay, cool. Well then, what did I learn? What? Because it's not about passing the account and making a bunch of money. It's about creating a habit and a lifestyle. For example, I've started eating cleaner, healthier, and better, and it's good. It's great, honestly. Oh no, don't do this to me. It's gonna give me another entry. Don't you know it? That's a weird candle. Yeah, it's gonna give me another entry. But anyways, well, that was weird. Dare we enter? We're already here. We may as well. Oh, wait. See, I was hoping for it to come up like this. It's already 10 ticks up from the initial entry. So that's what I was hoping for, which is why you didn't enter, because I was hoping for a better entry such as that. Okay, so now I will do this. Where do we need to put this? Probably at 20. No, wait. 4. No, wait. Pretty sure it's like 30 something. 7. Low-key kind of nervous. Okay. 90. Okay, it's at 90. So that's basically where it's gonna stay. And then the take profit should be literally the same. What was I saying? This is a risky one, guys. Like I said, not super confident, just because we tend to be moving sideways, and as you can see, yeah, we get a push down, and then we get a lot of sideways movement, and I don't want there to be sideways movement, but I'm afraid that's what we're going to get, but I don't know that. So you know, I did get a good entry, which is good, but at the same time, it still technically would be a negative depending on my entry. So it's not great. It's not by any means a great, it's not great at all. So yeah, that's that for you. It's all about, I don't even know, you know, this is what gets me when I trade is you know, when the hardest thing is to see a winner and then take a loser, and that's, you know, miss the winner, take the loser, and that's it's a big shortcoming I have in the trading industry. Is industry, but when I trade, I second guess myself or I wait for a better entry, which that's not a bad thing. I mean, this I got a better entry, but then, it shakes my confidence. But I can't let it shake my confidence because I did absolutely nothing wrong, which I actually didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, kind of want to tighten this whole trade up because it's not, I don't like it. And like I said, I'm very close to passing the account and I would rather not. Okay, wow. I would rather, that was a beautiful 0. I would rather not. I repeat, I'd rather not lose over something that's not. Just again, we have more of a potential to go sideways than anything. And I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. So I'd rather sit with a 0, lost $3 on commission. It could still play out. There's nothing bad about that. I felt more comfortable tightening it up because just the way it looks, it just doesn't look great. Anyways, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe it was a good one. I don't know. But I don't have a lot of confidence just because of the way it's looking. Yeah. What was I saying? Was I saying something? I don't know. Maybe it pushes. Maybe it bounces around. I mean, that's a nice looking. If it dumps from here, that's great. Will I be sad I wasn't in it? Probably. But also, it doesn't look good to me. It just doesn't. And it's not like, oh, I'm scared. I'm saying it doesn't look good because, one, we had a huge push, which means we have more potential to just kind of chop. Because when all of this, I don't know. There's just a lot of potential to chop. That's why we're not in the trade. I mean, I was in for a second, but it wasn't pushing. It wasn't, because it could have, and it didn't. It's failed. And it could fail a couple times before it gives a really big push. But at the end of the day, I would rather not play games, What was I saying? Was I going on about something? Okay, so yeah, as far as, look at that nice, beautiful green candle. Gotta love it. But also, that's, I don't know, it could still drop. It doesn't have to go the extra 8, 10. See, it couldn't. Maybe it does. Maybe it goes. I don't know. What do I know? Nothing. Yeah. Okay, it's 4 ticks away. Literally 4. And 2. And 4. And now like 9. Anyways. Okay, maybe we pump down. I don't know. We're watching this. Cause this is like real time. We were in it. We tightened because honestly, if it was gonna push, it could have pushed and it didn't. So tightening it was not a bad thing, especially when, like I said, if we're close to passing the count, I'm not interested in taking big losses here and there. So I'd rather hit break evens than I'd rather hit break evens or wins, not losses and wins. A break even is better than nothing. So, well, no, wait, a break even is nothing. What was I saying? I don't know. See, we could still pump down. I don't know. the way it's looking right now, I'm glad I'm out of the trade. If it was looking better, I'd probably be sad I wasn't in the trade, but I'm glad I'm not because I said it has more potential to chop and I think that's what it's doing. Therefore, I got out of the trade. So, even if it goes the way I want it to, I'm not going to sit here and regret it because if I did, then that wouldn't be healthy. I'd rather trust my judgment in saying it's gonna chop, and then if it does, it cool, and if it doesn't, cool. We're 2 ticks away from okay there. It would have hit my stop loss right there. So that was a loss. We have a win and a loss, and that could have been a loss for me, and it wasn't. So that's okay. Anyways, I think one of the biggest things I want to do this week, next week, I don't know, make it a priority. Find a church to go to, find a small group, not even just church, but I need a small group. I want to go to Bible study, but I want something that maybe happens in the morning or potentially on the weekend because I'm busy all week, you know. I work, I got pup, I have fitness after work, I have streaming, you know, weekdays, Monday through Thursday nights, and then the only night I'm really free is Friday night, and then I don't know, it's just I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know. Goodness. See, this is also a good time to say, looking at Renko can only tell you so much, right? If I was just trading based off of Renko and just blindly like, oh yeah, I'm gonna trade the flip, I would have lost that because I would have stayed in. But the fact that I saw this, and I said, and I also looked at this and saw, I don't like this, right? That's the reason why we got out because of what this looked like. Now, yes, um, you know, I guess what I'm saying is Rango is great, but it can't always show you what everyone else is seeing. And when other people are trading, right, they're seeing this, right? They're seeing drop, chop, drop, chop. And so, you know, when I'm trading, I have to also look at the same factors. Drop equals chop, right? It just does. Drop equals chop. And if you close yourself off to that and you're just like, oh, you know, whatever, I'm just gonna trade the flip, well then you're gonna miss key indications of potentially things not going the way you want them to. So good reminder to look at this for reference as far as patterns, because that's a pattern that I'm seeing right now. And so based off of pattern, we decided not to stay in this, and that was a good thing, because if it was going to push, it should have pushed, kind of like how this pushed. There was a lot of strong downwards momentum. So where's the momentum pushing this? It wasn't there, hence why we exited. So yeah, that's really all in a nutshell, honestly. It's almost 8. Well, I mean 8 more minutes, and then it'll be time to. Every time I go to the gym, like every single time I go to the gym, I work out and then I get all sweaty, but like my head gets all sweaty because I have like a bun and like thick hair. So it's like, but then I don't want to wash my hair so late at night because then it doesn't dry. So it's like, what do you do? Do you have a sweaty head? I don't know. I'll probably wash it in the morning or something. I don't know. But yeah, we have 7 more minutes, and then we're gonna be done for the night. And let me just start typing here to make things go faster. What happened? What did I do? Okay. Okay, November 3rd, Monday. Yeah, I've been noticing it's like it's been maybe it's gonna be a slow week because this is only 2 trading opportunities. Yesterday there was only 1, so I don't know what's going on. So far we have 2 trades between 7:30 and we'll wait till 8:30. Oops. Why can't I get rid of that? Okay. Oops. So far on the week, we are negative for the first time. Yep, we're down 200 on our equity curve. Hey man, you know what? That's okay, because you know what? That's the point of back testing. Well, I guess live testing is if something isn't working, like if it actually isn't working, guess what? You can change approaches. It's not a bad thing. And the best part is that because we're sitting down for an hour each time, I can also start collecting data, right, on maybe a new approach I'd like to try. So, I was gonna say what that approach was, but I have no clue. But yeah, because I don't really want to start looking for other things, because if I do, I will definitely get distracted. Yeah, I will. And then I might actually, just ditch what I'm doing now and I don't want to do. So, yeah. So yeah, like I was saying, I really want to get involved in a church, and I've been saying that since I moved here, and I still haven't. So yeah, I need to get my act together for certain. So yeah, we're sitting at 77%. We'll see what that number's looking like around, after like a month. I really want to hit like 100 trades and then see what that number's like after 100 trades. Yeah, we will actually end this at 8:30 because I already did the journal. I already did, yeah, and there's no more trades to be had. Like, there will not be another trade. Guaranteed. Unless this one suddenly flips into a red, there will not be another trade between the next 1 minute. So, ooh, nice. Pushing it, pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. Oh, there you go. It's 8:30. It's kind of hard to see the numbers. I don't know what happened with my screen, but yeah, as you can see, let me go over there. As you can see this number, maybe. Can you see this number? Yeah, this is 324. So that was just commission. So it's basically break even, but not. All right, make sure we're ending this at exactly 8:30. All right, so that is it for today. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Beautiful. It was a beautiful day, honestly. Thank you for safe travels to fitness class, and back from fitness class. Thank you for a good training session and some time to reflect on your word about storing up treasures in heaven and really investing into the kingdom and in other people, really. Yeah, in Jesus' name, help me find a church. I have been saying that for so long, and I don't know. I feel like it's my fault because I just don't like putting myself out there, but I guess I have to. Well, I hope everyone has a great night. I will be taking a shower because I still smell like the gym.